Welcome back to another training vlog. This is training vlog 15, and this is our quad night for week 6 of week 12. So what I did different on this night was I actually worked on the belt squat with a wide stance, more kind of like a low bar squat. And I did 2 warm-up sets, 5 working sets, pyramiding up to my 3 top sets, which would be performed with the exact same weight for all 3 sets, trying to get the same amount of reps, but obviously getting less and less for each set because I push myself hard without as much rest in between these little sets as I do my working sets. And there was a total of 10 sets basically total across for this. When I got done with this, my legs were so fried. There wasn't much I could do after this for my legs. So I moved on to the leg extensions. And for that, I just basically did 4 sets of 20 on the one-legged leg extensions and just kind of pumped as much blood into my quad as I possibly could until I just basically couldn't move my legs anymore. And it felt absolutely amazing. And that's all I did for my legs tonight. And then I moved on to calves and I did some standing calf raises with some dumbbells in my hand. And that was basically the sum of my leg night. What did you do for your legs tonight?
For my legs, I went with the hack squat tonight. Same principle as you used with your belt squat. Did 2 warm-up sets with the same weight and then pyramided up for the next 5, 6 sets. And then the last 3 sets were done with the same weight with a rest pause. It was difficult towards the end, but I feel the rest pause was like a real good measure for like the night. Like I feel real good about my rest pause. Like it put a lot of effort and work in on what I was wanting, and I liked it. I liked how it turned out. And then I also did leg press again this week for like my after, and I went with the same weight for 4 sets, doing 20 reps or however many I can get if I've got more than 20, but just trying to burn out the quad that last little bit. And I did a couple sets of hip adductors, the inner ones, and also some standing leg or standing calf raises as well.
Yeah, what I like about doing rest pause is like they're called rest pause. You can call them whatever you want. I call them my top sets, but it is basically a rest pause. So what I like to do is my first 2 warm-up sets, I wait about a minute. I hit it, I wait a minute, do it again. Notice my warm-up, it's done. Same weight, same reps. And then after that, I increase weight every single set after that, which is my working sets, doing 8 sets on each set for the next 5 sets, pyramiding up to my top set. And then when I hit my top set, I do as many as I possibly can. And the rest between my sets are about 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll do a working set, 2 to 3 minutes, working set, 2 to 3 minutes, working set. And I do this all the way through. And then whenever I hit my top set, I go about 15 breaths, 20 breaths, which is about 45 seconds to a minute. And then I hit it again, 45 seconds to a minute, hit it again. And I do as many reps as I possibly can on those 3 sets. And then I total the weight and the reps. Well, I total the reps, and whatever that number is, when I come back to perform it, I'll try to beat it by either reps or by weight. And that's a style of program that I run sometimes. I don't always chase a logbook, and I don't always try to beat my numbers, but it is definitely a way to make sure that you're progressing and you are overloading every single week. Whether you go up by 1 rep or by 1 pound, you're still making forward progression. But you can only do that so long on each movement before you stall out and you level out and you can't add any more reps or any more weight. So then you have to change that out for another movement and then start over with that one. But once you do the same thing, you stall out on that one, you can always return to the previous one, you know?
Yeah, and it's a good way to it's a good form of exercise, like being in the gym and using that as the style that you're going with. Like I like doing the rest pause. I also like doing the negatives a lot, but depending on the movement though, like the heavier movements, the more complex movements, I prefer doing the rest pause. Like I don't feel it's as taxing as trying to do like a drop set on some of them or just kind of not sure exactly how to say it, but yeah, like I feel better about doing rest pause. Like I'm not as
Vulnerable?
as vulnerable to like an injury or like overtaxing like an area that I don't want to be putting a lot of pressure on, like joint wise or just anything like that. So yeah, like the rest pause is definitely a good way to go about doing like the more complex compound movements, I feel.
So what I like about rest pauses is it allows you to really focus and overload a muscle group with one movement without having to worry about the next movement. And then like I said for tonight, I was so done after leg belt squats that I just went to leg extensions just to kind of see if I had anything left to finish off my legs with, and I did. Had a little bit left in the tank, but doing it like this, you get plenty of warm-ups where you're pyramiding the weight up and you're feeling the weight, you're getting comfortable, your form's getting better, your technique's getting better, you're dialing it in, you're getting warmer, you're getting more pumped up, you're filling out the movement. And then when you get to your top sets, you go ham 100%. And if you leave everything on the table, if you leave it all out on the table, that one movement for those 3 sets is all you need for that workout. Like, it's going to be hard pressed to do any other movement for that body part. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But if you do it 100% all out, you're going to know you got a workout in with that one movement. And typically, I'm not going to do the same movement every single night. If I just do one movement for that night, doing a total of 10 sets total, or 16 sets or 12 sets or 15 or whatever it is, like, I'm not going to come in my next leg workout and do the exact same leg exercise. I'm going to change them out for something else. I might rotate out 3 of them and then come back to that one, giving myself a break from that movement to attack it in a different area or a different manner. But you definitely can push, because there's nothing after that. There is no plan B, right? It's plan A. And plan A is this movement and on this movement alone. And I'm going to give it 100% because after this, there is nothing after this. So I give it all I got, or I wasted my time while I was in here.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, just a side note, but for hack squats for me, like, I don't know if it's everybody that does this or just feels this way, but for me, it does feel this way. Like, when you're gripping the bar, like on the hack squat, like right now, I always feel that even though it's not actually affecting me, if I'm pulling down while I'm pushing up on the bar, like on the handles, I feel like I'm pulling the weight against me and it's more difficult. But if I shift it and I'm pushing up on it, I feel like I reduce some of the weight, even though it's not possible. Like, I'm not actually shifting the weight or anything, but it's like, it's a mental thing for me. I don't know if anybody else thinks about it lately, but yeah, it's just, every time I do hack squats on this thing, if I have my hands on the handles and it starts to feel like I'm bearing down on it, like, it makes it so much more difficult to pull because it feels like I'm pulling the sled back down on me.
No, that's a real thing. So back whenever I was powerlifting, a technique that I would use, whether I was low bar or high bar squatting, was I would try to shoulder press the weight off of me as I was coming up out of the hole. And because I had a bad tendency, whenever I was coming out of the hole, I would try to bend the bar around my shoulders. So as I was coming up, I'd pull the bar hard down on my shoulders, and it would make the workout and make the squat feel way harder coming out of the hole. And then one day something clicked on me. I'm like, why don't you try pressing the bar off of your back instead of pulling it down into you? Because you're basically pulling yourself into the ground. So why don't you try to push the bar through the ceiling on the way up? So when I started squatting and I started, like, quote unquote shoulder pressing the weight off of me as I was coming out the hole, it felt like I took 50, 60 pounds off the bar coming out the hole, and it made it significantly easier. But no, that is a real thing, man. And I don't know, I haven't talked to many other lifters about that, but I know from firsthand experience, and the few guys that I have talked to about it, they've had the same experience with it, whether it's doing the hack squat or actual squats or whatever. It's weird because it feels like you're just crushing yourself between the floor and the bar is what it feels like, and just intensifies how difficult it is.
Yeah, like, a lot of the times when we're doing hack squat, I'll just remove my hands off the handles altogether and kind of just hold them like over my chest, or like just kind of have them in the air. That way it's better or less of a pull down on myself. But yeah, it's always had that mental feel to me, and I didn't know if it was other people that might be affected the same way, or if it was just something I was doing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like I said, with calves right here, I just did standing dumbbell calf raises, and Richard basically did the same thing, and I just did like 5 sets of 20 because I'm doing so much work on the Stairmaster. I'm trying not to burn my calves out because I go on walks and then I do the Stairmaster. And if I do too much calf work, they will kind of like get flat and wither away. But I think that's going to be it for me on this one. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, sounds good.
I didn't put your calf work in because all you do is zoom it in on your rear. You totally missed your calves whenever you're recording. Oh, yeah, you totally missed them. So.
Thought it was aimed lower.
Oh, but all right, guys. Well, thank you for stopping by and checking us out. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And you remember, if there's no agony, there will be no bragging.
Yep. Catch you later.